Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Camerscore, where we talk everything media. And today we're talking about the movie Him, not directed by, but produced by Jordan Peele. And I believe the director is Justin Tippin, who also co wrote with two other people. That being said, is this yet another legendary Jordan Peele adjacent? Because it's not him. I want to emphasize film? I wouldn't say so, unfortunately. It has a lot going for it. Let's first start with the positives.
Wait, what are we doing?
That man Smile about to be on the floor. This how you do your teammate?
What is this?
So to start, we have Marlon Wayans, a legend in comedy and a legend in acting at this point. It's undeniable the amount of effort and the amount of care and time that he puts into his craft. And it shows in every role, whether it's comedy, making you laugh in White Girls or White Chicks, sorry, or the serious but also goofy version of himself that is Isaiah White in this film. Every time he's on screen, he's stealing the show. He's going from angry, narcissistic to a boop, point on the nose moment where it's just funny yet terrifying at the same time. Then we have his co star, the quarterback, the GOAT, who also happens to be named Cameron. He does another incredible job. The main two, them together, I would love to see them in something else. Just their energy and chemistry playing off of one another really just takes it to a whole nother level. Now, the supporting cast of characters dip in and out. Some of them have limited to no impact, and some of them have more, but they don't really bring you anything spectacular or out of the ordinary. They're good, they're decent, they're solid. Now, the cinematography in this film is another amazing, amazing story point. The way that they show you the injuries, the almost psychosis that the main character is going through is all very creative and well shot. The contrast of colors, the beauty in the scenes, the landscapes, even the things that aren't really there and that he's just imagining are really, really amazing. That being said, even on some of the darker moments where you're not supposed to see much, you still get enough to paint a full picture. And I really, really like that. Another great positive is the dynamics of going for what you really want in your life and sacrificing everything that you actually need. And I love that play back and forth that they have in this film. It's really, really enthralling and it keeps you going throughout the story. What is he willing to sacrifice and what is going to be asked of him? It's a really cool concept. But with that cool concept brings me to the negatives.
I've never been more certain of anything in my life. And how bad does Cameron Cade want it? I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
The negatives in this film, and there are a decent amount, is unfortunately it feels unfocused. It feels as if they wanted to do one thing, but then they ended up doing 10 to 15 things. There are so many things in this film that I feel like are unrealized or wasted potential that could have been better served in other places or other movies entirely. The whole theme of him sacrificing everything does carry throughout, but it's in the way that they display that he wants to sacrifice more. It leaves you kind of feeling like they did way too much. They had this big vision board, they threw all these ideas up, and they really chose every single idea when they really should have left a bunch of them up. The characters do interact really well, as I said before, but at the same time, there are moments between them and moments between the main character and some of the exterior characters that don't really serve a purpose in the film, at least in my opinion. There's great story moments, great story beats, but it can't decide what it really wants to be. I know it's in that drama, thriller, horror genre, but there are so many moments where I'm like, what is this for? Or what is this showing me? And hey, maybe I'm not artsy enough to understand and explain. Maybe you guys can let me know. But it just seemed like they were doing way too much. I mean, even the director kind of was saying how he was throwing ideas on a board and moving things along in a way that he felt artistically served him, but maybe it doesn't concretely serve the film. Another thing that really I didn't like that much was there are some scares in this. There's a little bit of tension going on, but there's a lot of dream sequences that serve no other purpose other than to spook you, to scare you, to give you a cheap jump scare. And I know this is really common in a lot of films, but I'm personally not the biggest fan. Are you going to scare us? Are you going to give us tension or not? And that also leads into another complaint about those dream sequences. I know this is this big fever trip where he's sacrificing a lot and he's going functionally insane, but at the same time, it is nice to know what is real and what isn't real because those real things have real consequences. And if you want us to care about those real consequences and real characters, you have to give us the full emotional weight of those moments. You can't give it to us in a sequence, potentially a dream, potentially not, and then just cut and move away. I would say this movie feels like a director's cut. Even though it's not that long, it just feels like there's way too much going on. Way too many moving pieces, too many intertwining themes, and too many things they're trying to attack and conquer all at once. Now, that might sound like I really hate this film. I do not. I feel like I really love the main two performances of the main two characters. And I love this whole concept of football taking everything from you because that's really what it does demand. Now, I don't know about any blood rituals or anything like that, that they can keep that. But that being said, to be a peak athlete, the top percent of the top percent, you do need to give away a lot. You're going to have to sacrifice time with your family, your friends, eating the things you want, doing the things you want. And I love that this concept is explored throughout this film in a way that is very different. Honestly, if there was a spin-off or a sequel of some kind, I would be interested to see how they improve on the original formula because there is a solid framework. It just wasn't executed the best. And if you play football, it's all up to whoever executes the best. And unfortunately, him was not him. That being said, I'm just here for the camera score. And today it's going to be a 6 to 7 out of 10. A very generous 6 to 7 out of 10 because I know what they were aiming at. I see what they were going for, and I really appreciate the attempt. Now, for some, might be a little harsher, and I personally can't blame you for that. But that is just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see more of my videos, like and subscribe.